Restoring Men in History. Today, we get to look at the magnificent film Heat by the outstanding director Michael Mann. And there's a lot in there for men, men being men, men relating to other men, women being women. You've got feminine women, you've got masculine men. So there's a lot here for the roles for men to look at, the roles and how men and women interact. Very realistic, because Michael Mann gets how to write men and women, and you got a lot of action here with it, and you've got people that are top notch at the top of their game. Okay, so you've got top notch people, men being men, women being women. There's a lot to take from this film for men and boys today. Men at the top of the game, competition, rivalry, and Michael Mann knows how to write men on purpose and women and their relationships. He gets it. He did it in Last of the Mohicans too. Men and women are just so on the money. And why would a boy today or somebody be attracted to be in a crew or crimes or a gang, right? So here's the problem we have to handle. Someone's going to catch boys and men. They're either going to go to a life of crime or a police officer or a life of good, right? Or just get married or do something else. You don't have to be one or the other. But you can be many professions that are good, right? What do boys get from that? They get a tribe, right? They get a group, they get a crew. What does that give them? If you don't have much growing up, you don't have a father at home, that's where a lot of it comes from. And you'll see in the story what kind of father Neil has. If you don't have a father, if you don't have a close relationship with your mother, and you don't have much going on for you, a gang may be attractive to give you purpose, or a strong religion that doesn't compromise may give you that order and structure you need. So there's a reason camaraderie, friendship, family, purpose, all that can be gotten from a gang. Now, we're not saying to go do it. We're not saying it's good, and we're not endorsing it or encouraging it. We're saying stay away from that. But somebody's going to catch the boys and men growing up. Either they're going to go to a gang or something else because they need friendship, camaraderie, and they're going to get it from somewhere. If you like and believe we must forge better, stronger men, please subscribe, comment, like, and we'll keep trying to do it. These men have, in addition to camaraderie, friendship, Neil's crew, and I'm talking about Neil's crew now, they've got a sense for adventure, and men like adventure, right? Men want to go on an adventure. They're professionals. They're top notch. They're at the top of their game. And you'll see that both these crews are at the top of their game. So the movie Heat has got Val Kilmer, Al Pacino, Robert De Niro. It's a master cast. They all do a phenomenal job. John Boy, he's just exceptional as Nate. They have adventure. They take risk. During life, in your life, one gang you join or one group you join or one group of men can affect your life profoundly. We always say the average of the 5 men you hang around most could make the difference, right? So one guy you hire or one guy you work with or one guy you hang around could have an impact and make the difference. And it does for Neil's crew. He hires a guy at the beginning named Waingro, or someone has hired him to work with them. He's not a part of their normal professional crew that knows how to work well together. And we'll see what happens through that. Let's see what happens. The character Neil McCauley is based on a real criminal. He's played by Robert De Niro. He's fantastic in this film. How do we start out? He gets the perfect intro that shows his professionalism. He's set out, he's focused, he's directed, he's walking through a hospital, and he gets into an ambulance and takes off. He's focused, and he does that well. He's a great actor. Chris, played by Val Kilmer, starts mission with drive, buying explosive materials, and he has that directed, serious look on his face. These guys are focused and directed. All these intros are well done. You've got also, before we get to the introduction of Michael Chirino, the introduction of Lieutenant Vincent Hanna, played by Al Pacino, based on a real-life police Chicago officer, Chuck Adamson. And this guy spent years, not months, years and years tracking Neil. But the introduction scene of Al Pacino, the Lieutenant Vincent Hanna character, is very interesting. He's having good sex with his wife, Justine, played by Diane Benora. And they open on them having sex. And we'll get to this, why it's a great introduction for this relationship, because it shows it well. What does that tell you? We'll find out. And if you read some of the studies on married couples, some of them suggests there's not much sex going on, but this married couple is having sex. And it's great filmmaking. Justine, his wife, says, "Are you taking me out for breakfast?" Doesn't have time. She says, "I'll make coffee." He says, "No time, baby." Now, so if we get something's going on with him, right? He's obviously had good sex with his wife. He's enjoyed it, and he calls her baby. There's no issue. He's not trying to run away from her, but he's got to go somewhere. Maybe it's his purpose, right? And we find out later it is his purpose. He's trying to get on it. And this is a great example of males and females. She wants to sit, have a conversation, have a connection after sex, and he wants to get going. He's had sex. Man and wife. Again, Michael Mann's fantastic with men and women. He gets men on purpose and women. And what's her purpose? He has a life outside of her, making her want more time with him, more connection. It makes him interesting and compelling to him. They seem to have an exciting up and down relationship, passion, chemistry, but it also leaves her wanting more. And you need a purpose, man, outside of your woman. Don't just be dependent upon your woman for everything. You should have a clear purpose outside. It does make you more attractive to women, but that's not the reason to have it. The reason is for yourself. The kind of man to sit around and talk about feelings afterwards is not him, not Vincent Hanna. It's usually not manly men on purpose either. And girls don't really want to hear it, even if they tell you they do. They don't listen. They don't want your problems. They don't want to hear about it. Just go on. Don't burden them with your problems. Don't complain. Interesting story showing the feminine nature of Justine after he leaves. The daughter is, and this is a warning to men, upset. She has a daughter. He has a stepdaughter. It's another man's daughter. The man's supposed to pick her up. And we get the story, and Michael Mann stays with it. He does a good job with it. She's all upset, the daughter. She's going crazy about finding some things for her hair, braids or something. Something for her hair. Barrettes, that's it. And so she's trying to find these barrettes. She's going crazy, and the mom is nurturing, loving, feminine, calms her down. So again, the roles are right. You're getting to see what a nurturing, feminine woman looks like here. And it does get resolved. It doesn't get just dropped. Michael Mann really does a good job of getting all this into this action story and drama. Dollar's supposed to be picked up by her father. He hasn't shown up many times. We find out before. Al Pacino says, "I hope he shows up this time." And it's not just for daughters, but boys. Boys and daughters need their fathers around. So if you're a father, make sure you're spending time. And if you're a boy or man and you're not getting that from your father, get it from somewhere else. You got to get it. You don't want to go to crime or something else. Get deep male friendships, men that are older than you, younger, whatever, older than you. So keep going. We've seen the stats. Boys without fathers end up going to prison much more. Why? She wants attention, time, and love from her father. She wants to feel that. And when you get that, the studies say you do better in life. Common sense, right? So you've got real issues, real problems going on. Of course, this is going on in the world today. Men without fathers are struggling. Men are getting beaten up anyway. So let's go back to all the introduction characters. We now meet Michael Chirino. He's in a truck, picks up a guy named Waingro, but first he checks. He's a pro. Wait, what's your name? Right? So he's got that serious look on his face. Who doesn't have the serious look on his face? Waingro tries to go down the road talking. Michael Chirino says, "Hey, stop talking, Slick." And Slick will come back. The point is, you've seen all these professionals except for Waingro. And it upsets Waingro to be told, "Hey, stop talking, Slick." Chirino wants to be focused. When he says that he takes off his glasses and gives Chirino a look, he's irritated, he's upset. And we see there that he's not as professional. He's the new guy, he's not as professional. He's concerned how he's being talked to instead of the purpose, the mission. And you got to be on mission. This is a serious thing going down. They're about to rob an armored car, and this guy just wanted to talk going down the road. That's not the way to be a professional, right? You got to be focused. Anything can go wrong at any time. You've got to be aware of the circumstances continually. So we see So what is this crew like now? The next scene is going to be them taking an armored car, and we're going to see whether they're good or not, right? So Neil has one guy following the armored truck so they can track the time of to intercept, because they're going to pull the ambulance in front of the armored car and stop it. So they pull in the ambulance in front of the armored car to stop it. Then they ram it with the truck that Michael Chirino's in, and we see that they're indeed what? Pros. These guys are pros. They listen to the call. They know they have 3 minutes till the police get there. These guys are professionals. They use a charge to get into the armored truck. Deafens one of the guys, causes a mistake by Waingro, but he's just a junkie for action and unprofessional. They take only what they are looking for. So what do we find out in the opening scene that Michael Mann does so well with? These guys know each other. They're professional. They work well together. We know this is a top-notch crew except for Waingro, the new guy. So all of them are working well except this one guy. Now let's see their competition, the police. Lieutenant Vincent Hanna rolls up with his crew, and we're going to see what they look like right after they're on the scene. And how do they do it? Are they professional too? Are they good at what they do? They go through the crime scene. Vincent even tells us what he thinks of them. Bosco, one of the detectives, says, and he has this great character voice, deep voice. It's really good, interesting voice. Anyway, he says they took 1.6 million in bearer bonds and ignored the cash because they had no time, Al Pacino says, because they were on a clock, which means they knew our time to a 211 and escaped. MO is that they are good, he says. Shape charge. Shape charge means that they are technically proficient. So we now know what? Both groups are pros, and they're both run by what? Smart leaders. And we know these crews have worked together before, except for Waingro. Neil's one leader, Vincent's the police leader. And you kind of get from this scene that you can hear it. He likes the challenge, Vincent. He likes the competition with a pro. He likes how they do things. He thinks they're doing it good. Their MO is good. So you kind of now you have a leader master and a leader master in Neil. They're both kind of leader masters. They're kind of the best at what they do and the leader, which is different than if you remember back to Tombstone when the leaders and the masters were separated. These guys are both kind of leader masters. As you go through the story, you find out. Because Vincent later seems like he's the best shot of all the men, and Neil certainly can shoot well too. So they're master leaders, seems like. Now, Waingro shot a guy for no reason at the armored truck, leading them to have to kill 3 people. It's a big mistake. So they know this guy's a wink link already, so they're at a diner and they're going to take him out. Unfortunately, once Neil knocks him down, they're going to shoot him, but he escapes because a police car comes by and they have to hold. And loose end, one guy you didn't know comes back to haunt them continually, right? But it does show they're professionals and know they have to eliminate him because he does cause trouble. Now, Chris, Val Kilmer, and Charlene, they're ready to go out. She's played by Ashley Judd. Notice that Val Kilmer is also into his wife. He says when he sees her, when we first see them together, "You look too good to go. I'll just jump you right here." So we see that he's at least into her. That's what we learn. He's into his girl. Confidence guys can say it, and he can say it. That should make her feel desired, but she's upset usually. So here's the female and male dynamic of the Chris-Charlene relationship. She says, "It ain't worth the risk, baby, you're taking. Where's all the money?" Apparently he's been gambling it, so he has a gambling problem. But he is into her, and she gets that part of the relationship, it seems. Or maybe she doesn't. She is having an affair, a fling. But what does she want? Women, females, usually want what? Stability, security. But they kind of also want excitement, right? So he's providing her the excitement. And he can stand up to her, be strong, which shows he can protect her, right? Because if you can't stand up to your woman, you probably can't protect her. But what's she talking about? Risk rewards. It's not worth the risk, baby, she says. What does that mean? She wants more stability, more certainty at this time in her life, at this moment, probably because they have a kid. So that's an interesting dynamic. I think it's very fitting that a lot of women want this security, stability at this phase of their lives. So Michael Mann, heads up to him. He does a good job with what Charlene is wanting at this moment: stability, security. Probably when she met him, she wanted the daring, dynamic guy that was great sex, right? But now she wants to change him into a stable, normal guy for the moment, she thinks. But then she wouldn't be attracted to that, right? Because the attraction comes from the danger side. The attraction comes from the guy he is. And that gives them the good sex. The man of action and adventure. The man that stands up to her. The man that stands his ground and stays and remains true to himself. So that's a realistic fight between a man and woman that Michael Mann gets right. So here's the note. Don't be afraid of conflicts with women. You can have a conflict with women. You can work it out, talk it out, stand your ground, and stay true to yourself. But here's another great female-male, and it's interesting that we're getting into these female-male relationships in this great film full of great action. But you can watch the action. Let's go through some of these scenes. Second scene with Al and his wife, Justine, which is, of course, Vincent and Justine. What happened? She says. Work. Her dad didn't show up, he says. Didn't call, didn't show. Waited for you till 10:30. Now, he doesn't want to talk about himself or showing up late. He wants to talk about something else. So he says, does this guy have any idea what is going on with this kid? She's been in her room all day. I made dinner for us. She wants to have dinner, a family, right? Stability. These females are great. Stability rings true. Feminine women want stability a lot of times when they're married. Home life, family, they're attracted to that. Every time I try to keep a consistent mood between us, you withdraw from the relationship. I got 3 dead bodies, he says. I'm sorry if the GD chicken got overcooked. He's on a mission. He's on a purpose. She wants relationship. He wants his purpose. There's the drama. There's the conflict. And Michael Mann really writes men of purpose well, because when you're on purpose and you're on a mission, you're very focused on it as a man. And that is the thing. That is number one to you. So he's got his purpose. She's a great feminine female character. She's into relationships. She wants a better relationship, right? He wants to catch bad guys. She wants the best relationship she can have with him. Communication, connection. That's human nature, right? That's history. Now, as far as Neil and his relations, he doesn't have a girl when the story opens up, but he meets a girl. But as a pro, he says, why are you so curious what I do? When she asks him a question, she meets him at a little place where they're having coffee. So he's weary. He's a pro. He knows anyone at any time could be getting information on him. And there's a great line that comes up, men on purpose. He says to her, I'm alone, not lonely. It's a great line, because I don't think, first of all, he's got his crew, right? He's got Chris. We've established they've got a friendship, and he's got his purpose. So he's got friends and a purpose. And I think that's true. Men with purpose and friends may be alone, but they're not lonely. Michael Trino is his friend. Chris is his friend. So he has purpose and male friends. Also, they go out, it shows, as a group, camaraderie. There's a scene later where they meet in a restaurant where some of the wives are there. Both men get intelligent reports. They're good at their job. They want to know what they're facing. Hannah goes to a snitch. These are pros. They want to see what's going on. Where do you go when you fight with your wife? You go to a friend, right? Or could go to a friend, or some people do. Chris goes to his friend Neil. Neil wants to know what's going on. He's concerned for his friend, and he's also concerned for their safety. He doesn't want any loose facts or loose people around. If Charlene goes and has an affair, that'd be a problem, right? He asked her, does Charlene have anything on the side? He says no. Why? What's the problem? Not enough steaks in the freezer is a great line because it says it all. She wants what? Stability. It's feminine. When you're in a marriage with a kid, most women want a check coming in. Stability. She's married with a kid. At this time, I'd like to invite you to subscribe so that you can help us build better, stronger men.